You know, how many times has this happened to you? You're out, you're shooting, everything seems to be good, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I should have brought my macro lens. Or you're out shooting wildlife, birding, whatever, right? And, amazing shot comes in, but the bird just isn't quite as close as you wish it was at the full telephoto reach of your lens. You're like, man, I wish I had a 400 millimeter lens instead of this 200. Or you go to sell some photos and the site that you're selling on, they say, oh, well, your image is only 16 megapixels. For this size, it has to be 23. And then you're like, oh, I need a new camera body. Well, you know what? I'm going to show you why you don't need a new lens, you don't need a new macro lens, and you don't need a new camera body. What? What kind of wizardry is this? Well, it's not really wizardry. Well, actually, it kind of is. It's the wizardry of Chasys Draw IES and the power of crop and resize or resize. When done right, the results are mind-blowing. All right, here we go. Of Chasys Draw Resize or crop and resize, depending on what exactly it is that you're trying to do with your images. So as I was saying, let me first make sure this is even recording. Yeah, okay, we're good. All right, so like I was saying, if you happen to be out and about and you have your telephoto lens and then you take a shot and you wish you had your macro lens or had a macro lens, or you wish you had a 24 megapixel camera instead of a 16 megapixel camera, or 24 megapixel camera, you wish you had a 36 megapixel camera, or what was the other one? Or you're shooting with the 200 millimeter lens and then, oh man, I wish I had a 400. Well, I'm going to show you a very quick, dirty technique with minimal quality loss of resizing your images to mimic the extra reach. Okay, so what we're basically going to do is turn this image into that. Same image. Crop and resize, that's it. See here, zoom in, you can see, you can still see the detail in the water there. Right. And this is the original. All right, so how do you do that? Well, let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to delete the already done one. All right, so we'll remove that layer. Okay, so we'll just be working on this bad boy. All right, so what you do is you go over into your toolbox and look for the crop. I'm going to actually show you two things. Okay, first we'll resize it. So at the bottom here on Chasys Draw, all along here, it tells you all the image information. So right now it's a flat image because there's no layers. Size 4928 by 3264 pixels. And that's how many millimeters it would physically be. And it's in 3.2 format, and it's 16.08 megapixels. Okay. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can resize it yourself by clicking and dragging. All right, so let's see. I want to make that bigger. All right. And then you see here, this is all changed. And now it's 6134 by 4144, or 25.42 megapixels. Now, if you know the pixel dimensions of, say, a 24 megapixel camera, for example, I know some of them are, 6,000 by 4,000. What you can actually do is quickly go here, resize entire image. And then right here, you've got a locked aspect ratio. So you can actually just type in 6,000 and you uncheck this by 4,000, and then it shows you right here that would be equal to 24 megapixels per layer. So we're already working on one layer, and it also will give you the dimensions of when you print as well. So just hit OK. Now you just want to use high quality, obviously, and we wait. And there you go. Now you have a 6,000 by 4,000 24 megapixel image. What? Crazy. Okay, so that's basically if you want to get extended reach. So, for example, you're shooting with, as I said, a 200 millimeter lens, and oh, I wish I had a 400 millimeter lens, but you want to keep the field of view, or sorry, if, oh man, okay, no, that's not the right one. Okay, that's if you're shooting with a 16 megapixel camera and you wanted to move up to 24. Say, for example, you're selling images, or entering a contest and they're expecting a certain dimension, or they won't allow you to enter or whatnot, you can just use this to mimic that same thing. As long as you don't go overboard, if you can go overboard where it just, yeah, the quality's just gone and it looks like it's been interpolated, in whatever, that word. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. Where did we go here? Moved, changed. Okay, no. Deleted layer. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to the original 16 megapixels. Okay. Now what we're going to do is go to the crop function. Now there's two different crops. This one is the click and drag. So in order to crop with this, you would click and then drag, and that would be your crop. I don't like using this one because it throws the dimensions off, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Let's do that anyway. And Control Z to undo what you just did, and the view got skewed. So I will center my workspace. There we go. Okay, so you go to the crop tool. Now go to the advanced crop tool. Now here it'll restrict the aspect ratio to 3:2. This one here is to restrict the actual sizing. I never use that. This one here I always use. I always click it to lock, and that way you're not gonna excuse me. You're not gonna change the rotation or the angle of the image. It's just gonna remain in the same format. So now when you click on here, this little square in the center, that's actually the center of where you want to crop. So if you click here, that's actually going to become the center of the crop. And from here, I mean, you can move it around if you want. Okay. Doesn't really matter. So what we can do is, I don't want that guy's head in there. So I'll just do that. Now, the program is smart. It knows that the original image was 4928 by 3264. So when you do the crop, it'll be a respective ratio of that exact size. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So just hit enter. And there we go. Now, when you go to resize it, all you actually need to do is leave this as locked and just type in 4928, and you'll see it automatically goes 3264 for the height. Hit OK. Yeah, we want the high quality. And there you go. Done. Cropped and resized, just like that. Easy as pie. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, and happy shooting.